Hi everyone, it's Dr. Rich McLean. Let's play a game and not be so serious. Let's play a game called Are You Gagging on My Big Black Cock? Here we go. So I say something and you say, are you gagging on my big black cock? And I say, nah, it's fair income. So we begin. The Office of Prime Minister and Cabinet refuse my freedom of information after first admitting there are thousands of matches. And now you're gagging on me big black cock. And I go, it's actually true. And me as a paranoid schizophrenic person, if I said to you that my former partner worked for the Secret Service ASIO and was a multi-millionaire and exploited me, you'd call me crazy. But that's actually true. So if I say to you, Stefan Iasonidis, a Secret Service agent and multi-millionaire, exploited me for 5 years from 2010 to 2015 and left me homeless with his dying dog. And he continues to enact family violence on me until this day from afar, and that's supported by government agencies such as Centrelink, the Tax Office, ASIC, and the Office of Prime Minister and Cabinet. And you say, are you gagging on me big black cock? And I say, no, that's actually true. And further to that, he threatens to kill my dog. I kid you not. So every citizen in this country who's a free citizen, as I am apparently, has the ability to go to government agencies for help. And one of those agencies is the Australian Financial Complaints Authority. Now I have had over up to $2 million in determinations that are at that agency. And I threatened to whistleblow because they were supposed to take within 6 weeks for a marginalised person, and mine took over in a year and a half. So I threatened to whistleblow, and they banned me. Richard McLean is banned from going to AFCA, which is a federal statutory government authority. And you say, are you gagging on me big black cock? And I say, I wish it were not true, but it's true. I'm banned at AFCA. Funny thing about the Australian Human Rights Commission, they're supposed to be about human rights. Now, I had a human rights issue, which I took to them, and it was worth $1.5 million plus, and it was supposed to be decided in a impartial decision, which was by Liz Linsberg, and she just said, the other party choose not to come. And I'm like, you can't do that. And they're like, we can. And we just did. And I recorded it. And you can see that on this video channel. But the Australian Human Rights Commission don't care about human rights or my human rights. In fact, they free-kicked a potential over $1.5 million settlement to the opposition. And I know the government's standing in the way because I went to the company directly after the determination from Australian Human Rights Commission, and they made a settlement. So as well as being banned at Australian Financial Complaints Authority and rejected at the Australian Human Rights Commission, I just had a little work cover case, and that's at the AAT. Now the AAT is under the Minister's folio of the Attorney General, Michaelia Cash. And I wrote to Michaelia Cash and said, I've failed at these two other agencies. What do you reckon? Can you help me out and politically intervene? And she sent me to the same helpline. And that's my story about Michaelia Cash, and further to this Attorney General, Mark Dreyfus, who refuses to acknowledge me despite millions of dollars of detriment. And last Thursday, I went to the AAT to defend my case when I couldn't get a lawyer, couldn't go to police, couldn't be a whistleblower, and I lost. And I called that out many moons ago. And you say, are you gagging on my big black cock? And I say, absolutely not. I'm not gagging on your big black cock. This is my reality. So would you believe I became unwell from my work in 2021 due to a complex issue of being framed by a government Geelong lawyer who got my child sexual abuse case and kicked it out as citing it's doomed to fail, which is kind of colourful language for a sexual abuse survivor. And then I was triggered by my own client's sexual abuse case, and I was doing his VOCAT case, and I knew then that my reputation had been clusterfucked framed. So it rendered my work illegitimate, couldn't cope with work, had a work cover issue. And, of course, I have private health insurance, income assist from HCF. Sheena Jack, thank you very much. I've caught her out being fraudulent. This is a symptom of the oppression and victimisation that has literally caused my death and then being revived from certain death and then rejected into the community with a brain impairment. And there's another cover-up at Werribee Mercy Hospital for the detriment that's occurred whilst under duty of care. And so that's another $75,000 added to the millions of dollars already. And you say to me, are you gagging on my big black cock? And I say, no, Sheena Jack's in on it. And the whole insurance company's in on it. And in actual fact, in my whole now 50 years of life, I've never, ever had a lawyer, equality before the law, or access to the law. And I have never had a lawyer to take it over the line to get me a settlement in many of my injustice issues. And you say to me, are you gagging on my big black cock? And I say, absolutely not. It's fucking happening to me. It's a conspiracy to pervert the course of justice based on psychometric profiling and my public presentation as a person who's identified with mental illness and was a prior illustrator for the Herald Sun and the Age newspaper. You would have to say, are you gagging on my big black cock? No, I am not. So currently, I'm a failed whistleblower at ASIO, APRA, the Commonwealth Ombudsman, and the Federal Circuit Court of Australia. The Federal Circuit Court of Australia have recently acknowledged that it's true. Misadministration has occurred, that great harm has happened to me and is happening to me, and further that this could result in my injury or death. But they still refuse to give me my whistleblower protections, which would give me immunity from persecution, the persecution that I'm suffering right now from the Australian government. And it's underpinned by powerful key political stakeholders, and it's family violence, elongated by the Office of Prime Minister and Cabinet. And you say to me, are you gagging on my big black cock? And I say, I'm not gagging on your big black cock. This is my reality. This is what's happening to me. And I have not enough food, not enough medication, and I can't be a whistleblower, and I can't go to the police. In fact, the last time I was incarcerated as a political prisoner in Werribee Mercy Hospital, the same location that I had suffered my own death and revived from a certain death, and then it covered up, that the hospital and the police and my family and friends oversaw my landlord, Hung Ho of Edithvale, go to my house and get every single thing that I own and take it to the tip where it was disposed of. That's my photos of my nana. That's my drawings. That's my clothes. That's my bed. That's my desk. That's everything that I ever owned was taken to the tip maliciously, and it was destroyed. It's a tragedy when someone loses their house in a fire, but it is absolutely evil when the destruction of everything you humanly own is done by the very agencies that are supposed to protect you. And you say to me, are you gagging on my big black cock? And I say, absolutely not. They absolutely went in. They financially abused me over years, and then they dressed it up as mental illness, locked me away, destroyed everything I own, and then they rejected me with only the shirt on my back to a homelessness shelter. Did you know that I'd written a book about my experience with schizophrenia, a so-called schizophrenia, that was diagnosed at the time? However, when my book came out, the Herald Sun vilified me, and they wrote an article saying my descent into madness, how schizophrenia stole Richard McLean's mind. Next thing you know, 3 weeks later, I'm rejected from the Age. I lose my job. It's a whole disaster. It's victimisation. And victimisation is against the law. It's also against the law for a free citizen of the country to be treated inequitably, with inequality, be discriminated against, be tortured, have the sanctity of life removed, or have access to the law or equality before the law. And all of these things have happened to me in opposition to the Charter of Human Rights for a person with a disability. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, you know, it's his mental illness. But I say to you, you need money to live. And when you have it systemically and profoundly, consciously, maliciously redacted from you in a way that's a conspiracy to pervert the course of justice and a vile victimisation on a once celebrated human rights awarded figure, it is a way of persecuting someone to such a profound degree, it almost beggars belief. I live here in this house on a pension of $1,000 a week for a fortnight, and $700 of that goes on rent. I don't have enough food. I don't have enough for medicine. I don't have enough to scratch my balls. And I've got a beautiful dog. I just want to be with her. I only want to live to serve in the community again. But the powers that be are absolutely, categorically acting in congruence with the persecution of me and my total and utter character assassination. I'm a good person, and the world has forsaken me, and I know this to be true, and I know the world wouldn't care that if I died, because I've actually already died in a public institution, and no one cared. Not a tear was shed. Therefore, it's within my remit now to live, to breathe, and to enjoy the earth, because actually, you would all be surprised, I actually love people. I love all the people around me, but they've forsaken me. It's not sufficient that one person starve and the other person use prejudice, stigma and shame to blame you, say, drug use or something like that, when they have a different set of circumstances with which they can go forward and for which I am exploited and scapegoated to the ultimate degree of dying and then having it covered up. I want to live, and I will, but if I die on this hill. I've now written to the Attorney General, to AFCA, to AFSA, to AGIS, to the Workplace Minister, to the HCF Chair. And I'm expecting that my injustice and my vile victimisation, which was the causation of my early death and then my revival from that, be administered pretty soon, because I can't sustain this life. I literally can't. And you might say to me that, And it's true, like I've got a cognitive brain impairment from, they say it's drugs, but I say it's from the total and utter loss of my blood, which would be an obvious answer. The powers that be are very powerful and they're very clever. And they act in congruency to cover up and protect each other. I'm the real deal. I love me and I love you. And I'm going to forgive all you when I come back the other side and I get my prosperity and I live to serve in the community again. And that is my fate. I'm sure of it. Otherwise, this profound victimisation and oppression in the conspiracy to pervert the course of justice, which goes all the way to the High Court and the Attorney General, Mark Dreyfus, and the Office of Prime Minister and Cabinet, and a whole lot of public officials, will kill me. I don't want to die. I actually want to live. I've got a beautiful dog. I actually enjoy the world, and that's what I'm here to do. And that's why I hope you can donate to my my PAYID below, because I don't have enough food. I don't have enough medicine. I barely have a home. I'm not an equal and equitable person on this landscape that is Australian politics. And I implore you to have some compassion. For Dr. Richard McLean, signing off. Are you gagging on my big black cock? No, I'm not. Fucking donate and get me out of the shit, because I'm in a really tough spot and they are oppressing me to death. Okay? Thanks for listening.